Everyone ready?
This is the SEC Insider Hit. Presented by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go local. Go with a home team.
Good morning. Welcome in. We got a couple of guests this morning. Ole Miss Insider Jason Kern at 8:30. And then 2021 National College Baseball Player of the Year, Tanner Allen, TA, will join us at 9:30. They'll both be on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This is the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And we're streaming live for you on thezone1059.com and the Out of Bounds radio app. Want to say good morning, welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend and enjoyed yourself with some college basketball and college baseball. Nick is already on the Ag Up Equipment text line. He wants to give Justin Parker a raise, the Mississippi State pitching coach, because the Dogs threw a bunch of strikes and pitched well throughout the weekend. They did not sweep Air Force, but they won 2 of 3. Couldn't get their bats going until yesterday. Well, I guess they got it going a little bit late on Friday, but definitely not on Saturday. Wasted a good performance from Steven and lost that game, but bounced back yesterday and won. Ole Miss split out in Hawaii. Jason, what do you think about that?
Yeah, pitching for Ole Miss already an issue. It seems like the opposite story for State because people are excited about the pitching. I'm hoping that this is just like the opening weekend ironing out some kinks. You know, Hawaii looks like they can hit the ball a little bit. Yeah, I'm just hoping it's ironing out the kinks. That's all. I mean, there's some ugly losses. Last 2 games were some ugly losses. So I don't know if that has to do
It's a long way to go.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't know if it's depth, if it's just, jitters.
Well, you've had 2 brutal injuries.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're going to have some depth to overcome that. And we'll just see how that looks. And Mississippi State had their third baseman injured early in the series, and we'll see what goes on there. And Marshawn's not playing. So, here we are, right? What did Tanner Allen tweet on Friday? Adversity is coming. And he would know. He went to 2 College World Series, or 3. And, 18 and 19, 20 season was gone because of COVID. 21, he won the national championship. So, he would know adversity's coming, just like our basketball teams. You got to fight through it. Still excitement down the stretch with the hoops teams that can both make it. Mississippi State's got a better net ranking. They're going to have to protect against Ole Miss on Wednesday. That's going to be a battle. It was a battle in Oxford, that's for sure. Let's see where Mississippi State landed this morning. 38th in the net rankings. And Ole Miss is 65th. So always work to do. Got to go, you got to finish it all the way until the end, and we'll see how that looks. Bundle your car and home. I know how this will look. You'll save. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go to favorites.com, and all of our guests join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Jason Kern at 8:30, Ole Miss Insider, and Tanner Allen at 9:30, Hail State baseball legend?
Yeah, definitely. I was asking that this weekend.
Was that the best single season performance of any? Of course, they capped it off with the dub. I know, Clark and Palmero had big years, and there were some other ones. Got to ask if that's the best single season performance by an individual player in the history of the program. Any program. Go ahead. What were you saying?
It might be. Honestly, I was wondering from State fans' perspective, who is more popular in Starkville, Jake Mangum or Tanner Allen? Because they're both huge dog stars,
We'll ask
obviously.
Tanner.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
We'll ask Tanner. I got to hang out with him Friday night. He was in one of the suites, and I happened to just walk in, and he was there. So we had a cold beer and hung out. It was good to see him. He told me about the huge buck that he had killed a few weeks ago and kind of what he had been doing in the offseason. He's gotten a lot bigger, and he's not a big dude, but there's something about that bat speed. He can hit it a mile. He's ready to go. He's ready to get down to spring training. He leaves next week, I think he told me. So we'll have Tanner Allen on at 9:30. I think we've got a baseball in there.
I think we do.
Tanner Allen baseball. Maybe we should do a giveaway. Let me think that through. Yeah.
Let's get spicy on a Monday.
Well, it's National Pancake Week, brought to you by Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue. You like pancakes?
I do. Actually, yesterday, Commodore Bob's had fried chicken and a pancake as one of the brunch options. And Miranda got it, and I had to try some, obviously.
Right.
Delicious. I love I'm more of like a blueberry pancake guy.
Are you?
Yeah. Banana doesn't really suit my style.
Yeah, I'm not a banana pancakes. I'm more chocolate.
Chocolate chip. Okay.
Yeah, chocolate chip pancakes.
I could get down with that.
Yeah. Wendy made a blueberry cobbler yesterday.
Ooh.
Which is, I didn't even know that. I was out in my man room. We got home from Starkville, and I went out there and was watching the Mississippi State Air Force game, and I had a 2-hour cigar from Havana Smoke Shop, so it was very nice.
Oh,
Jill,
nice.
I'd been on the road and walking and talking, visiting with people in Starkville, and I needed to just, shut it down, which was phenomenal. And all of a sudden, I walked back in and boom, blueberry cobbler.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I asked for my birthday when Miranda was like, I want to make you a cake. And I was like, I want blueberry cobbler. I don't want a cake.
I love blueberry cobbler.
And
with I didn't put any ice cream on it, but with ice cream on it, it's even better.
Oh.
And then you do a little snifter or Grand Marnier, and then you light the Ashton cigar from Havana Smoke Shop. So you got the order here?
Wow. Okay.
Blueberry cobbler, dollop of vanilla ice cream. Amazing.
Man.
Just a little Grand Marnier, 1 or 2 fingers, and then the Ashton cigar from Havana Smoke Shop. You got that?
That sounds like an at-home vacation.
It sounds
to me
like a rock star. Although I did smoke an Avo yesterday, but it was great. It's one of those long 2 hours. I wasn't in any hurry. Didn't have anywhere to go for the first time. Because, we were moving. We were shaking from going to Laurel, doing the show at Bocoma and the new sports book and casino down there outside of Laurel, going to Hattiesburg, having lunch, seeing all the Southern Miss people getting fired. Crescent City Grill was packed, and they were ready for some college baseball over the weekend. By the way, Air Force plays there today. Yeah, so I guess maybe they bust down last night to Hattiesburg. And we have Southern Miss and Air Force. The Air Force Falcons and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles with Coach Oz. Air Force is a scrappy little team. I felt so bad for that center fielder yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know you want to win, but you know how disciplined and focused and smart those kids are to be able to take the curriculum and the schedule that is put on you at Air Force, Navy, or Army, the academies. I felt bad for that because this time of year with the sun coming in the way it is when it's wintry, and it's virtually impossible to see, and especially when you're just new there, obviously.
Right.
Man, and he dropped those 2 balls. I mean, it worked out for Mississippi State, kind of ignited an offense that had been sleepy throughout the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But they they pitched well. Dome, Steven, Gerangelo, among others. The question is, can they find another starter and move Dome to the bullpen, Jason? That's the question. I think that's the most ideal scenario. And for center fielders to drop the ball throughout the year.
Yeah,
But the sun shifts in a way as the seasons, roll on. But man, that was tough stuff. National Pancake Week, brought to you by Burgers, Blues, and Barbecue. B3, baby. They're now open in Dogwood, serving breakfast. Dogwood, Flowwood.
Honey butter chicken biscuit, right? Come on.
Which I hadn't had one in a while, so that means it's time. It's past time.
Oh, definitely. Did you like the Bear Troopers this weekend?
I did.
That was awesome.
I thought whoever in the athletic department did that for Mississippi State more than once. I thought it was great. And the way that the crowd celebrated Air Force and the way that they fed them out in the outfield and all that, you saw a lot of that interaction on the socials. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And when you get loaded up with that kind of food, I mean, it's the best culinary experience in collegiate athletics. It's not close. Because nobody cooks at events. Nobody cooks at a football game, at a basketball game in the arena. And nobody cooks in the outfields except, Mississippi State at that level with those grills and those eggs and everything else. But to feed an Air Force team, let me tell you, they may have lost, but they went home full.
Oh, yeah.
Ribs, ribeye poppers, and, pork tenderloin and so on. Did you look it up? What time Southern Miss Air Force?
So it says 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So I think that's 4 p.m. today.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 p.m. our time today.
Okay. And give me, click on the scores for Southern Miss over the weekend for me. So you got Southern Miss and Air Force today at the Pete. And I was in Hattiesburg on Friday, and you could tell there was a buzz in the air. And everybody was filing in Crescent City Grill with all their black and gold on. And there was a bunch of guy groups, and they were locked. It was kind of fun to be in two college towns within a few hours and watching them both come alive on opening day. That was cool.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Because
it was a buzz.
Yeah, you were there right around the time. I mean, people were starting to come in. Maybe they took Friday off from work so they could get there.
Was packed. Yeah. Just getting to Roberts Place. I mean, Hattiesburg was packed. And then I get into Starkville, and I'm literally coming in on two wheels. And I got to the game. I think I missed the top half of the first or something. But and then I walked in that suite, and there's Tanner Allen. So it worked out. Now he's coming on the show.
Yeah, that definitely worked out.
TA, baby.
I'd say. Southern Miss won this weekend on Friday 4-1, Saturday 10-5, and then yesterday they lost 3-6.
So they took the series too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Southern Miss and Mississippi State take the series. Ole Miss splits out in Honolulu. I wonder when they get back.
Ooh, I wonder how long that trip was with Bianco after splitting at Hawaii.
Especially the way that, what was it, 15-4 or something?
Yeah, it was nasty. Yesterday was 13-4.
I'm sorry, 13-4.
Yeah.
I saw the social media chatter, and then I had to break away. You know what I'm saying? It like sucks your brain. I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
That's a good way to put it. Sucks your brain.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I ran into Jeff Levy.
I saw him at the basketball game.
Yeah.
Just walking around.
Yeah,
hanging out.
Hanging out. Got a young family. Met his wife. She was super sweet. And he's got young kids. It's interesting what's happened at Mississippi State. You've got Zach Selman, who's under 40, young family. Levy, under 40, young family. And then Selman has surrounded himself with a bunch of young, ambitious, energetic people. And so it's this youth movement. Mm-hmm. And you can see them. They're all together a lot, obviously. And it was cool. I had to be up front with Levy. I said, "You've exceeded my expectations." And he started laughing. And I said, the fact that you landed Michael Van Buren in like 24 hours was ridiculous. 4-star, committed to Oregon, 97 offers. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Under Armour All-American QB. Luganville said he looked great. Well, Levy goes, "Hey, I saw him throw this morning. Kid can spin it." And so anyway, it was good to visit with him. He's got a lot of, it's documented that I wanted Chadwell and Malzahn, but I am blown away in a tough situation what he did in a short amount of time. And we'll see. They're going to move it on offense. And he's got I like his demeanor and presence, but he's just a dude. I mean, he's just hanging out at the basketball game. He's just, "Hey, man, what's happening? What are you doing?" That type deal. Not, "Oh, really?" And he's just chewing the fat with people, which is cool.
Yeah.
But he's exceeded. Now, the question is, here's my question with, like, I know Dan Mullen and Lane Kiffin can do this because they've proven they can do it. But now I don't know why Dan didn't do it at Florida, but I'm not going to go. But at Mississippi State, Dan made CEO extremely difficult decisions. If something's not working and they're not good enough to get you where you want to go, you have to make a move on your staff. Okay? Dan proved that he would make the difficult decisions. Kiffin, I mean, he just made a decision at defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And then he brought in Pete Golding for this past year. I mean, he literally let that, like Dan fired Carl Torbush and he let go of Peter Sermon. I mean, 1 year. You can't wait. You cannot wait in this league, period. If it is not working, you have to make a change. I'm not advocating firing people left and right.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it's not working, you can't say, well, it will.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mullen and Kiffin made difficult decisions. The question with Levy, the question won't be whether or not he's going to get talent or whether or not, I mean, he finished 25th and, just a few spots behind Ole Miss, who's got a fifth-year coach in recruiting. And he landed Van Buren and Stonka and all these guys. So they'll move it on offense and they'll score. Check. The question will be in his first staff as a new coach, those that can't get it done, is he willing to move on? Dan moved on Torbush after year one. Once Kiffin lost Durkin, went with the co-DC thing, he moved on, went and got Golding. Cohen, as a coach, not an AD, as a coach, was willing to make the difficult decisions. Okay? Ben Hallen and Kermit Davis Jr. were not. They had buddies on their staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ben had two assistants that I think Jans is going to have to make a change. One of his two, George Brooks, you can't because he's the only one bringing in players. But Jans is going to have to go get an offensive coordinator. In other words, what got you there? What got Dan Mullen to Mississippi State? What got Lane Kiffin to Ole Miss? What got Ben Hallen to Mississippi State? What Leach? Love Mike Leach. Love him. All that. What got Leach to Mississippi State wasn't going to be enough. He'd have tripped over 8 wins this year with the schedule and everybody coming back because they won 5 and they were in absolute disarray.
Right.
Okay, I mean, total dysfunction, total disarray. Didn't have a playmaker on offense, at the most important position. The list goes on and on. But the question for me is, are you willing to hire a staff and then who works and who doesn't? And Dan Mullen and Lane Kiffin made difficult decisions and won. I'll be interested to see if Levy, maybe he nailed it. Great.
Mm-hmm.
If they work, you don't make a change. But if for some reason the DC doesn't work, are you willing to make a change then? Because you can't wait.
Right.
And when you see coaches, look at what Freeze did in the offseason. He made difficult decisions. OCDC, gone. I mean, he assessed the situation and just said, I got to upgrade. And we got Derek Nix and what's his name? So, look at Brian Kelly. LSU was awful. That's the worst defense I've seen since Jerry DiNardo was at LSU in 1997 or whatever year. And Brian Kelly said, I have to make a change. I can't wait. That's something that I'll keep an eye on with Jeff Levy. Like, I know he's going to get the quarterbacks. He's going to get the talent. He's going to move the football, da-da-da-da. But, Coleman Hutzler, is he the guy? If he is, great. If he's not, boom. And you have to always be upgrading your staff. Yeah. Austin Thomas was Lane Kiffin's general manager, and they did a good, not, all the time, but most of the time, you're not going to nail every hire, but most of the time they were replacing guys and upgrading.
It's a good point. Yeah. I'm also curious
Question
to see.
Did Lamonis wait too long? Now, they pitched really well over the weekend,
mm-hmm.
but he kept Foxhall one more year. They didn't have a good year, but this past weekend they had a 2.33 ERA, which is phenomenal. And their dudes were throwing strikes and getting strikeouts, and things look good. Now, it's Air Force, but still, you play who you play going into conference. The bottom line is they upgraded. It's a significant upgrade on the mound. The question is, can you get Dome in the bullpen and find another starter? I think you can because you have talent. But that is something to keep an eye on. So many of these coaches hire their buddies and won't let them go. Ben Hallen, Herman Davis. It almost got Bianco. I mean, Bianco's kept it, now other people say because he micromanages everything, but he finally, he was getting fired and then won the national championship. But the 5 years going into that championship, all we heard on the show was he's got to go. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the fine line in the SEC because, man, it's hard to win in this league.
Well, also, I mean, I'm curious to see, say Levy does have to move off someone and he has to make a new hire.
Well, I'm here. I can be the DC.
Yeah, or at least, interim. But what I'm wondering is,
I'm a full-time gig.
Does he, being a young coach, I think it's more likely that he changes his mindset. Say, this time he tried the experiment, or they tried the young guy, everything young, go with a DC who hasn't been a DC before, but young and hungry. And if that doesn't work, is he willing to change the strategy of, okay, now let's go older, more experienced, maybe been out of the game for a year, looking for a spot to come back in? I wonder if he changes his
I don't
mindset.
think you have to. Age, I don't care about that. I mean, he can go find a 34-year-old, whatever. But the point is, if it doesn't work on defense, you need to go get somebody who's got the experience of play calling on the defensive side of the football. It may work. One thing that Coleman Hutzler's done, he has run a unit. He's been an excellent special teams coach, and there is something to that. Actually, we sleep on it, but it's a big part of the game. So those are things that I was thinking about as I'm watching Jeff Levy. And the fact that he coached under Lane Kiffin, I'm sitting there talking to him going, this is crazy for this state. Ole Miss had basically named him the coach in waiting when Lane was flirting with all those jobs in year two. Levy looks at an opening at Oklahoma and says, I'm going to go over here so that I can actually be the 100% OC. So that I can run the offense under Brent Venables. I can call all the plays. I want to grow as a coach. And he did. From year one to year two, they had drastic improvement at Oklahoma, right? What did Bartu told us, like 60 spots? I mean, they were top 10 offense this past year. So that's the question that I have. As a coach, because I think of somebody like Ben Hallen. He just wasn't going to make a change. And then, Jans. Does he need an offensive coordinator?
I mean, it depends on who you ask and after what game.
Yeah. But, hey, Mississippi State pitched it better. They're all fired up about it. We'll see what that leads to. Bunch of home games for MSU and Ole Miss, and we got Southern Miss and Air Force today at 4 o'clock. We are the Out of Bounds Show, and we're driven by your next Ford F-150 truck at Mack Hike Ford, I-55 North in Jacksonville.